Merry meet and welcome. Welcome to the realms of mysticism, the occult, and magic, where your possibilities are only limited by your imagination. Welcome to the Witch's Cauldron and discover the knowledge you seek. Gather round the cauldron and even stay for a spell. Brightest blessings to you. Merry meet and welcome to the Witch's Cauldron. My name's Paula. Been a long time since I've posted, folks, and I'm not going to go into why right now, but just know it's been a struggle. It's going to continue to be a struggle for a little bit, so be patient with me. I wanted to do a video on the upcoming full moon in Aries on October 9th. Now, we have kicked off eclipse season again. So the last part of the year is like a big crescendo. It is an accelerated collapsing of the old to bring on the new and better, and put it in context as a leap of advancement for humanity, okay? Everything that was old, the old systems, old ways of thinking, allowing the few elite to control the masses, has got to fall away. So there are a few areas where things have already started to kick open the door and make way for something new to come through. You can kind of see that with things that are going on in various economies throughout the world, currencies in the world, more popularization of digital currencies and crypto. We have more grassroots efforts popping up. We had, earlier in the year and last year, we had the truckers, and we had in Canada and America, and we have the farmers in the Netherlands and other people speaking up saying, wait a minute, your global quote unquote reset is not sustainable and it's not achievable. And the restrictions that are going on have various cascading effects through various ecosystems within our lives, be that the financial ecosystem, be it the food and distribution systems, be it whatever that may be, okay? Now, the nodal axis is across the financial axis of Taurus in Scorpio. This is going to put more turbulence in stock markets, global banking, rapid changes in currency. I looked at how much the British pound has fallen versus, with its comparison to the US dollar. I think it's like the lowest rate in like 50 years, something like that. I really encourage, if you have the ability to do so, to start kind of amassing a little reserve of cash. Some people are investing more heavily in, gold, silver, platinum, the metals, and in crypto. But I really suggest that if you have the financial ability to start throwing some cash to the side, just in case there have been instances in China already of them freezing bank accounts and not allowing depositors to withdraw their monies. So to keep that from happening globally, you may want to put some cash reserves to the side just so if somebody pulls a plug and puts a moratorium on, cash withdrawals, wherever you may be, then you'll have a little bit of leeway and something to fall back on. There is the Saturn Uranus square comes back to exact degree, 18 degrees of Aquarius in Taurus. This was the strongest the first 5 days of October, but that energy is going to carry on into November. So historically, this hard aspect has been associated with financial uncertainty and turbulence. The last hard aspect that was an opposition between them was in in November of 2008, and that is like a major financial crash. If you were around during that time, indicators in like the US showed a drop in GDP for the third reporting period in a row. So that officially designates a recession among the experts in the US. This is also being reinforced by eclipses that are occurring on this financial axis. And if you personally have planets between 17 and 19 degrees of the fixed signs, so that would be Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, you may be feeling particularly unsettled and restless and really unhappy with how things are playing out in your life, and could have, and depending on where they fall in your chart, it very well could be that you're having out of the ordinary financial drains, things of that nature. Mercury has been in retrograde until October 2nd. At the time that I am recording this video, we are still in Mercury's stationary direct. In other words, we are still in Mercury storm, where it's slowed and now it's starting to move direct. And this occurred, the actual direct state happened at 24 degrees of Virgo. We will also be seeing Pluto, Saturn, and Mars changing direction this month. So energy is not only going to be shifting, but it's going to speed up. On the 3rd, we had a conjunction between Pluto and the Moon, and this just intensifies those feelings around power, government controls, or financial situations that are going on. Now, the full moon will occur on October the 9th at 16 degrees 32 minutes of Aries. If you hear something crunching in the background, my beautiful little blind pupper Daphne is chewing on a bone. She had a seizure this morning. She has lunation seizures. So since we're in eclipse season and we got a full moon right around the corner, she got the double whammy and had a bad seizure this morning. So if you hear that, sorry, don't like it, click off, because I'm not going to take her bone away from her. So The full moon occurs on October 9th at 16 degrees 32 of Aries at 1:54 p.m. Pacific in the U.S., which would be 4:54 on the East Coast and 9:54 p.m. UK Greenwich Mean. And in the US, we will still be in daylight savings time until I want to say like the 6th of November is when our clocks change. So, with those time markers, you can kind of figure out where it actually occurs for you. Now, Aries is linked to courage and bravery, those fiery kind of traits, okay? And also resilience and a sense of a being pioneers, okay? Now, resilience is going to come into play, especially in the US, where we had some really devastating effects from Hurricane Ian. So there is going to be a focus on resiliency, rebuilding, bringing back things of that nature, okay? And we're going to build something better for humanity and stronger, where there's a more focus on communities rather than the few ruling the masses. Remember that your energy plays a big role in our ability to ascend. Remember that your energy and your attitude has a direct impact on your ability to ascend, but also humanity's ability to ascend. So the more love and light we put out, the more will be generated and the more we will get back. Okay. We see during the full moon, Pluto will be at 26 degrees of Capricorn, and it's in a long running square to Aries at 24 degrees of Aries. This square's become tighter, and it echoes the energy and movement of the Saturn-Uranus square with similar themes of freedom versus top-down control, the individual versus the state, autonomy, personal autonomy versus governmental autocracy, okay? The full moon is also conjunct to Chiron, and Chiron shines a light on health and healing, but also on the actual sickness. It puts a light on the sickness, and so like the cancer within. And I'm not referring to like, oh, everybody's got cancer. I mean like the things that destroys from within, shines a light on it. The sun, which is always opposing the moon at a full moon, is conjunct Venus in Libra. And Libra is the sign linked to the law. So there may be some legal machinations going on linked to health and sickness. It can also bring about a feeling of urgency that we need to have peace, not only personally, but peace in the world. However, that Aries energy, Aries is a warrior energy. So hopefully the Libra will balance that out a little bit so that we can make some progress in the peace area. Mars goes stationary retrograde on October 30th, and that strengthens that energy again. And it remains in retrograde until January 12th of next year. When the planets are retrograde, they are closer to the Earth, and the symbolism can be felt more strongly. Mars is an assertive warrior energy. Okay, we can all pray for peace and hope that we can bring about peaceful solutions, but don't be surprised if somewhere along the line that flame gets fanned even higher. Okay? At the time of the full moon, Mercury is also activated and is at 28 degrees of Virgo. And it's being squared by Mars at 22 degrees Gemini, which is the sign of the mind. Okay. And the mind also not only, focus your mind, it can be very scattered. So Gemini and Virgo are both mutable signs. So don't feel like you're alone if your thoughts are just ping-ponging off the wall. You know why, okay? You need to make a conscious effort during this period of time through the beginning of next year to really stay grounded. Take the energy, put your bare feet out on the ground and really ground, okay? And I know that like in the US, in the northern hemisphere, we're in autumn heading into winter. Things are cooling down a lot. It might be but there is nothing better for your soul than to go outside and plant your bare feet on some ground and some grass and just let that earth energy wash over you and calm you, and you are more able to focus, okay? We have a T-square between Neptune at 23 Pisces in opposition to Mercury and squaring Mars. The aspect between Mars and Neptune has the potential for positive spiritual action. And you can manifest this through things like yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, Reiki, energy healing, light work, things of that nature. A focus on reconnecting that spiritual energy, whatever your path may be, and developing that closer connection to the divine. And this is going to be very important, okay? Especially with practices like yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong. They get you to slow down, kind of meditate, get in that energetic flow. And while Neptune in opposition to Mercury is great for your imagination and creativity, and you may find yourself just like going off and lucid dreaming and realize that, oh darn, I just wasted a half an hour, and you've just been kind of lucid dreaming. Don't be surprised if that happens. However, we are going to be inundated with a bunch of information being thrown at us from all directions, and it's in opposition with each other. And it is up to you to decide what it is that you choose to believe and what you choose to discard. Do not rely on one source for your information. Be sure this alignment is telling you, get all the information that you can, sift through it, throw out the chaff, and get down to the nitty-gritty of it, okay? And then you can make decisions. If you have to make a split decision, rule with your heart and not with your head, okay, in certain circumstances. when determining what is true and what isn't, your heart is the better determiner. Okay? It is going to be misinformation and disinformation are going to be at an all-time high during the next several months. Okay, just keep that in mind. Pluto is trying to Mercury, and that urges us to dig deep, to get to the truth, get to the bottom, to assemble the facts and throw the lies and disinformation to the side. And that also adds to that, seeking of the truth. Pluto is stationary direct, and it moves on that into that position on the 8th and stays there until the rest of the month. And it will be at 26 degrees Capricorn. And whenever an outer planet stations direct, that planet's energy and the symbolism is amped up. And you're likely to see some major assertions of power during this period of time. And especially if you have planets or aspects between 25 and 27 degrees of the cardinal signs. That's Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. So in that intensity, and either you asserting your power or someone trying to assert their power over you in those aspects of your life can be highlighted during this period of time. Mercury is also going to be opposed by Jupiter at 1 degree of Aries on the world axis, which is 0 degrees of the cardinal signs. And this is a really good aspect for writing and developing big ideas, future vision, planning, where you want to be, doing your long-term goals. But it's also relating to information coming in and how it's perceived and processed not only by you, but by the rest of the world. Jupiter is likely to magnify or enlarge any information that is coming into the world stage as being very significant to our future. The sun is at 16 degrees and in a quincunx with Uranus at 18 degrees of Taurus, which is also conjunct the North Node. And this puts an emphasis on bringing forth new financial systems. Saturn in Aquarius square to Uranus is helping to build long-term, realistic, and practical systems and networks for the future. They can be financial, they can be agriculture, they can be food production systems, those all being linked to Taurus, okay? So eclipse energy, remember, is you can feel the effects a month before and 6 months after. The eclipses occurring in October and November are going to be extremely intense. They are reinforced by the upcoming final waning of the square of Saturn and Uranus. for those of you who are magical practitioners. The moon will not be void, of course, at all on the 9th of October. It will be waning. It will be void, of course, on the 10th of October from 10:01 to 5:03 p.m., and that is Eastern Daylight Savings Time in the U.S. So I highly recommend, even though full moon energy is energized the day before, the day of, and the day after, I would highly suggest that you do your full moon ritual on the actual day of the full moon, if you possibly can. Otherwise, do it so that you avoid doing any kind of magical practice while the moon is void, of course, because it is likely to blow up in your face. Just remember, this full moon, and again, this ties in with the energies coming at Samhain, of rebirth, bringing forward the new, of doing the planning, of taking the steps to ensure that you maintain yourself in a higher frequency and not allow yourself to come down to those low negative emotions. Just remember that. And you may want to focus on uncovering the truth or communicating your own truth for your ritual, and then carry that on into your Samhain ritual on the 31st, because we've got some really kind of interesting stuff that will be occurring at Samhain and right before Samhain, with the eclipse being right before Samhain. So with that, my friends, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, sorry, I didn't meet your expectations. I've got other videos on the channel. You might want to try one of them instead. So with that, my friends, as I always say, merry we did meet, merry we will part until we merry meet again. Be well and walk in love and light, everybody. Bye.